Hi there. The Sigma 16mm 1.4 is a perfect mix of a wide-angle lens and a large aperture of 1.4. This lens is intended for an APS-C camera, say a crop sensor camera, and corresponds to a 24mm full-frame equivalent. The lens has been specially developed for mirrorless cameras. You can get this lens in different mounts, such as Sony, Micro Four Thirds, such as Panasonic and Olympus, and a Canon M mount that I use. The construction of this lens is nicely finished, as we have come to expect from Sigma in recent years. This lens is from the Contemporary line from Sigma and is just below the Art line. There is not much of a difference between the Contemporary and Art line, in my opinion. The lens looks and feels good with a large grip for manual focus. This lens has no stabilization, although you can ask the question whether you need stabilization with such a fast lens and possible in-body stabilization. Compared to the kit lens, which Canon supplies with a Canon M50, the lens is a lot heavier and larger. Compared to the Canon's 22mm, the difference is even greater. But this 22mm is just about the smallest lens you can find. I'm not going to bother you with the technical specifications of this lens, you can find it all over the place. For me, the quality that you can expect from this lens counts. No unboxing either in this video, because who is interested in a box? I mainly use the Sigma 60mm to film my paintings. Just because it is a bright lens, I can still keep my ISO as low as possible, with less light. This way my video remains noise-free. But how does this lens compare to a zoom lens? Let's find out by using some examples. I've put a number of objects together here to photograph. Okay, the photos won't win any awards, but it's just to test the quality of this lens. The photos were taken on a tripod and with a self-timer. You can download the photos in this video and compare it for yourself. I put a link into the description. Quick disclaimer here, I would like to report that I normally only shoot raw images, but for the sake of this test, I will show you the test of the JPEGs straight out of the Canon M50. This photo is with a Sigma 16mm with maximum aperture of 1.4. You get a nice separation between foreground and background. The colors are displayed accurately and intensely. The focus is fast and accurate, and not a problem at all with front or back focus. Especially with a large aperture of 1.4, this would be immediately visible because you have a shallow depth of field. To show the quality of this Sigma lens, I want to compare the Sigma with the Canon 50-45. Obviously, a prime lens with a fixed focal length always scores better than a zoom lens, that is common knowledge. But to what extent does this Sigma lens score better than the standard kit lens, and is it worth the money? Let's find out. To make the tests run equally, I also set the Sigma to aperture 4.5 because that is the largest aperture of the Canon kit lens. Let's zoom in into the center of the photo. Here we see a small advantage for the Sigma. The image is slightly sharper and more vivid. Especially you can see this in the green of the bottle. Now let's take a look at the edge of the photo. Here the difference is obvious. The standard kit lens makes it a blurry mess, while the Sigma offers almost the same sharpness as in the center of the photo. The color reproduction is much better with the Sigma. Also pay attention to how there is a difference in tonality of the black parts. Okay, I already hear you say, well, the Sigma lens has been turned a few steps down from 1.4 to 4.5. That way every lens is sharper than a full aperture. Very true. Then let's compare it with the Sigma at full aperture of 1.4. Even here we see that the Sigma throws the Canon lens out of the water in terms of sharpness and overall performance. I also made a comparison between the Canon 22mm f.2. This Canon 22mm is also a lens with a fixed focal length, a prime lens. Here are both lenses. Although the Canon is also a prime lens, you can clearly see the difference with the Sigma. The Sigma is simply sharper, especially at the edges of the photo. Nevertheless, I think the Canon 22mm is a great lens. This lens is very tiny and only costs half the price of the Sigma lens. Of course, the Sigma can go up to 1.4 aperture. Finally, I have a comparison with the Sigma 16mm, Canon 50-45mm and the Canon 22mm. It is very clear who wins the battle here. Conclusion. Why should you buy this lens? Well, the Sigma 16mm 1.4 delivers top performance at a level of sharpness. You get excellent sharpness from the full aperture starting from 1.4. You get a lot more light into your camera with this lens. For example, you can use faster shutter speeds or lower ISO values. This prevents noise on your photos. Let's take a look at how much difference there is in the light that these lenses let in. I think the difference is clear. Another advantage with the Sigma lens is that with 1.4 you can make a separation of foreground and background. This gives you more depth in your photos and creates the so-called bokeh effect. This lens is certainly not the cheapest one, but you also get something in return. And remember, a 1.4 lens will always remain pricey. As you can see, a fast lens with 1.4 aperture offers a lot of advantages, and this Sigma 60mm is certainly not going to disappoint you. If you have a Canon, Sony or Micro Four Thirds camera, this lens is a perfect addition if you are in the market for a wide angle lens. I am very enthusiastic about this lens. I'm curious what you think of this lens. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found value out of it. If you want even more information about my videos, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.